Till when Weird Al Yankovic asked Kurt Cobain to parody Smells Like Teen Spirit, that Kurt asked him if it would be about food, and Al said it would be about how no one could understand his lyrics. Kurt found that extremely funny and said absolutely. Till in 2014, black taxi cab drivers brought parts of London to a standstill, protesting against Uber. This led to an 850% increase in downloads of Uber. Till serial killer Ed Kemper befriended the very police officers investigating his murders and would socialize with them at a bar called the Jury Room. They called him Big Ed and never suspected him. When he initially confessed, they thought he was pulling a prank. Till that Charles Dickens novels were hugely popular even among the illiterate poor. They would pool their money to hire a reader and then gather together to listen to the stories. Till George Lucas approved of Mel Brooks' Star Wars parody Spaceballs and signed off on a fair use agreement. The only condition was that no Spaceballs merchandise would be made to compete with Star Wars merchandise. This is why there's never been any Spaceballs figures, cereal, or flamethrower. Till at age 11 Hugh Jackman decided against dance lessons because his older brother told him, dancing is for sissies. Years later his brother apologized and encouraged him to follow his passion. Hugh signed up for lessons the following day and went on to win a Tony Award for Best Actor in a Musical. Till when the Red Baron was shot down and killed in combat, his enemies buried him with full military honors and a wreath that said, "To our gallant and worthy foe." Till in the film Osmosis Jones, Bill Murray's character mentions a National Chicken Wing Festival in Buffalo, New York. While the festival did not exist during the filming of the movie, this mention caused organizers to create an annual festival in Buffalo, which has been active now for 16 years. Till the Soviet Union had an internationally televised song contest. As few viewers had phones, they would turn their lights on if they liked a song and off if they didn't. The power spikes were recorded by the state energy company and the reports sent to the station to pick the winner. Till that along with blacksmiths, there are whitesmiths who work with tin or other light metals and brownsmiths who work with brass or copper. Till pill bugs are not insects but land crustaceans related to lobsters and shrimp. They breathe through gills, can drink through their anus, and excrete gas through their exoskeleton instead of urinating. Till gay men incarcerated in Nazi concentration camps during World War II were forced back into prison even after the Allied forces won that conflict. Till that when George Washington died in 1799, the British Royal Navy was ordered to lower their flags to half-mast. The London Morning Chronicle opined that the whole range of history does not present to our view a character upon which we can dwell with such entire and unmixed admiration. Till that James Bond has slept with 46 women and at least kissed a further 52 in the first 20 films. According to one doctor, the likelihood of James Bond having chlamydia is extremely high. Till that elephants are so complex they are able to mourn, cry, have mental breakdowns, play the drums, paint, mimic human speech and show basic arithmetic skills. Till that the For Dummies book series started with Dose for Dummies in 1991. The creator overheard someone in a bookshop ask if there was a book about dose for dummies like me. Since then the series has grown to about 2,500 titles, with more than 200 million books in print. Till in Finland, city planners are known to visit parks immediately after the first snowfall when the existing walking paths are not visible. People naturally choose desire paths, clearly marked by their footprints, which can be then used to guide the routing of new purpose-built paved paths. Till that the restaurant chain Red Lobster once lost over $3 million during an endless crab promotion because an executive underestimated how much people could eat. Till so many Irish women were enslaved by Vikings that by the time they colonized Iceland, the settlers' genetics were roughly 50% Irish. Till that the US had a lesbian first lady in 1885 to 1886. She was Rose Cleveland Grover Cleveland's youngest sister and acting U.S. First Lady before Grover married in 1886. She was also a lesbian and had a relationship with a wealthy widow, Evangeline Mars Simpson, with explicitly erotic correspondence. Till I learned that an art historian watching the movie Stuart Little in 2009 recognized a prop in the background as a lost painting by the Hungarian artist Robert Barany. The film's set designer had found the work at a California antiques store for $500. It eventually sold at auction for €229,500. Till. The red flag, when used by pirates, came to mean no quarter given, meaning that no mercy would be shown and no life would be spared, while a black flag usually meant that those who surrendered without a fight would be allowed to live. Till Michel Vauger, a French convict jailed in 1986 for attempted murder and armed robbery, forced his way onto the prison's roof by wielding nectarines that were painted to look like grenades. His wife then picked him up in a helicopter and whisked him away. Till. Whenever Kevin Bacon is invited to weddings, he frequently bribes the DJ to not play Footloose. He does this so that he does not upstage the bride and groom. Till during the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles, McDonald's ran a nationwide promotion offering free products every time a U.S. athlete won a medal. It turned into their most costly promotion ever when the Soviet Union, the powerhouse team of the time, boycotted the event, letting the USA win big. Till. A Ugandan man, Jordan Kanyera, saw his father lose their land in a legal fight at age 6. He spent 18 years in school and became a lawyer and won back the land 23 years later. Till there was a second Fukushima nuclear power plant, Fukushima Daini, 10 kilometers to the south, that suffered the same crippling tsunami damage but was saved from meltdown by a capable leader and heroic staff. Till the Japanese command didn't realize Hiroshima had been totally destroyed until almost a whole day after it happened. Vague reports of some sort of large explosion had begun to filter in, but the Japanese high command knew that no large-scale air raid had taken place over the city. Till that a recent study out of the University of Kansas found that it takes about 50 hours of socializing to go from acquaintance to casual friend, an additional 40 hours to become a real friend, and a total of 200 hours to become a close friend. Till designer Coco Chanel was a Nazi spy and was directly involved in a plan for the Third Reich to take control of Madrid. Till that after Balto the sled dog became famous for his role in saving a remote area from a diphtheria outbreak, he toured America on the vaudeville circuit. When a Cleveland businessman found Balto chained at a dime museum in La, he bought the dog to live out his life at the Cleveland Zoo. Till when Olympic gymnast Nadia Comaneci earned the first perfect score in the Olympics, the scoreboard displayed 1.00 instead of a perfect 10. Omega SA, the manufacturer of the scoreboard, did not program the device to display a 10 since they thought it was impossible to attain. Till Hunter S. Thompson killed himself while being on the phone with his wife. She mistook the cocking of the gun for the sound of his typewriter keys and hung up as he fired. Till of the man in the iron mask. An unidentified prisoner held for 34 years until his death in 1703, who was forced to wear a mask to ensure no one knew his true identity. His cell had multiple doors so no one could listen. If he spoke of anything other than his immediate needs, he would be killed. Till the Cassandra metaphor occurs when valid warnings are dismissed. The Greek god Apollo gave Cassandra the gift of prophecy, but she refused his love, so he placed a curse that nobody would believe her. She was left with knowledge of future events she could not alter or convince others of. Till about the ASSO defense, a term for frank acceptance of blame when you are at full fault. It's named after Kahei Asso, an airplane pilot who landed his plane in the waters of San Francisco, just shy of the runway. When asked about why he did this, he said, "As you Americans say, I have kept up." Till Korean parents have begun hiring thugs who protect their children from bullies. These thugs pose as fake uncles and intimidate bullies who have been harassing the bullied kid. In some cases, the thugs will visit the bully's parents at their workplace and publicly shame them. Till that at the age of 19, Michael Caine had a near-death experience in the Korean War that formed his character for the rest of his life. He learned to live every moment as if it were his last and to always look on the bright side of life. Till about cotton candy grapes, a type of grape that tastes like cotton candy. Created by David Kane, the cotton candy grape was made by breeding plants. He grew 100,000 test tube plants before getting the perfect cotton candy grape. Till after Ralph Nader published Unsafe at Any Speed in 1965, General Motors kept trying to discredit him, including hiring a prostitute to seduce him, but he turned her away. So they hired detectives to prove he was gay, but they were caught when Nader entered Congress and they tried to follow. Till Steven Spielberg made up that he snuck into Universal Studios, found an empty office and began his internship by faking it. In reality, his father had to pull some strings to get him an internship through a family friend. Till Ghana and Ivory Coast produce at least 70% of the world's cocoa beans. And the world is running out of cocoa farmers as the next generation refuses to take up this job because of the difficulty of the process and wages as low as 84 cents a day. Tale of a Swedish man who was wrongly imprisoned for a murder for 14 years until a true crime podcast brought out clues that led to his exoneration. Awarded a record sum in damages of 18 million Swedish kronas, he now lives in Canary Islands with his wife, who was his Spanish language teacher in prison. Till all steel produced after WW2 is contaminated with radionuclides from atomic bombs. Low background steel is steel made before or during WW2 and is needed for precise measuring and sensor equipment, such as equipment for measuring radionuclides in steel. Till that in 1508 a French town tried to convict the local rats of destroying their crops, a lawyer successfully defended them by first arguing that court summons must be given to each individual rat and then arguing that it was too dangerous for them to come to the trial due to the cats in the town. Till scientists found that deleting a certain gene in mice can make them smarter by unlocking a mysterious region of the brain considered to be relatively inflexible. It is called the Homer Simpson gene. Till every person with blue eyes has a single common ancestor who lived 6,000 to 10,000 years ago. Till of the stubby squid. In 2016, researchers from the Nautilus exploration vessel were cruising along the deep sea floor off California's coast when they came upon the bright purple creature with giant googly eyes. The scientists couldn't contain their laughter. Till the rescue of Denmark's Jews during World War II was so successful that 99% of the country's Jewish population escaped. From October 1943, 7,220 of Denmark's 7,800 Jews were ferried to Sweden. At the request of the group, Yad Vashem honored the Danish resistance as a whole than as individuals. Till about Gary Plouch, a man who murdered his son's molester and kidnapper on live TV. He received no jail time.